Hey, parents, greetings. Hey, welcome to fourth grade. I'm with my little soulmate Roxy on a Sunday afternoon. And you know what? We are so excited about the year in fourth grade. I tell you what, kids are doing awesome. And the promise of this year is just totally exciting. And so this video is just about what are we going to learn in fourth grade? Yep, that's what it's going to be about. What do you think we're going to learn, Roxy? I know. What do you think we're going to learn? And curriculum night is this Thursday night at 5 o'clock, and we'd love to see you there. But this little video is just going to give you a little idea of, hey, what's important in fourth grade. And so here we go, huh, babe? Just what are we learning in fourth grade? Well, I think fourth grade, it's a crossroad. I tell you what, after fourth grade, kids just get grown up in a flash. I mean, their bodies get big, and in no time they're graduating. And so I always think, what we're doing in fourth grade, we're getting them ready for life. What do they have to do to be ready, to face the world, which is coming really fast down the road? And you know what? I think it's all about metacognition. Way back in Minnesota, I got a master's in reading, and the biggest thing I learned was metacognition. In other words, what do you have to think? What do you have to think to be a good reader? What are the things you think? How about to be a good writer? How about to focus or to listen or to be ready for the day? What do you have to think? And so this whole year is going to be learning, what do we have to think, to be successful? What should be going on in our minds? And so one of them just might be listeners. What do listeners have to think? Listening is hard. It is so easy to not listen. First you have to decide you want to listen, but here's the hard step. You have to really think about what that person's saying, and repeat it in your mind. So we're going to really learn this year through read aloud and all the other things we do to listen. It's hard. Giant thing is focus. Yeah, focus is the F word in fourth grade. It is, because your whole success hinges on focus. It's that drive to work. A big question we ask is, who makes you work? Who makes you work? Maybe nobody makes you work. Maybe you don't work. Well, guess what? You're not going to succeed. Or maybe you have to be pushed to work. Or maybe you work all on your own. And I tell you what, if you work on your own and you're driven by your own self-will and determination, you will do 20 times more than those who have to be forced to work. And so focus is absolutely everything. That's the biggest thing we're going to learn in fourth grade. Because you know what? If you focus, you're ready for life. You'll succeed at everything. And then even little things like being ready for the day. What if you shuffle into the room and you don't have your notebook and you don't have your pencil and you're not ready for the day? Well, we have to learn, what are you going to do to be successful in life? And you have to think, every time you go anywhere, you think, hey, where am I going? What do I need? Do I have it? Is it in the right spot? It's that alertness that you need to be ready for life. So those are the things we're going to be learning. A giant focus of the year will be reading. Yep, we'll be doing phonics so they can decode anything. We have an incredible program called Common Lit, but we'll also be reading real books as well. So good stuff is ahead in reading. One giant learning we'll take part in the realm of reading is phonics, which is the decoding of words. It's so important that if you're going to be a good reader, you have to be able to read those words and know what those words are and not make toss salad out of the letters. And so back in Minnesota, where I taught for 34 years, I also gave workshops for teachers in Minnesota, but also across the country. And in the course of that, I wrote books for teachers. And one of them was Phonics Strategies for the Literature-Centered Classroom. And in that book, it's like I want kids to be able to have a simple, usable strategy they can use when they're stuck on a word. So we're going to learn 2 dividing strategies that will help them not make toss out of the letters, but to be able to decode anything. In fact, they will be able to read like this in no time. Hey, here's Anthony.
vertical, ventral, narcotic, hostility, somatic, taxonomy, tangible, deficit, precaution, obstruction, antagonize, independence, confiscate, relative, magnetic, relativity, academy, consistency, propaganda, conjecture, mutation, remission, excursion, arbitrate, deduction.
Since coming to Champion School, I have digitized my whole phonics program, and so it starts out with strategy 1. These are one-syllable words that look like this. And each lesson, by the way, it has a modeling video. That's the first link. It's a video that models what you have to think to use the strategy. And then there's a choral reading one, which we use in class to read the words with music. And then here's where they practice on their own. This, and students just read the words as fast as they can. The goal here is, hey, put those letters in order in a hurry. And so they'll say skunk, text, cam, clack, and the goal is to go that fast. And this is strategy 1. Start dividing words into syllables. And once again, every lesson has those 3 pieces: the modeling video, how to use that strategy. The slides to music is the second one, which we use for choral reading in the class. And then the last section where they practice the words on their own. Dividing strategy, where we divide words that have 2 or more consonants in between, makes the first vowel short, divided after the first consonant. So it's like planter, dropper, sponsor. And the goal is to go fast, like trickle, 100, topper, snapper, gobble, to go fast. And so we're learning to divide words into. This week we'll be learning strategy 3, which is the second strategy that is a dividing one. But the bulk of the year we'll be doing all strategies combined, where we're mixing all the strategies together and we become able to read anything. There's also lessons for C and G sounds and vowel plus R. And by the end of the year, yes, we'll be reading words like this. And so once again, it shows how they have to divide words into syllables, or they're going to mix up the letters. They're going to not say what the word really is. And it's such an important skill of life to be able to know what that word is and not guess. It's a skill we can't ignore. We have to learn whatever grade we're in. Whole school has access to my Google Classroom, and so please feel free to practice these at home if that's what your child needs. One of the best programs I have seen in my 42 years of teaching is Common Lit. It is just astounding. And here's what it looks like to the students. So they read a little section, and then it gets blurred out. That's because they have to answer the question. And so we are just learning what we have to do, to become good readers. One of the cool things that Common Lit does is it lets me know how many times the kids have guessed. And so at the very beginning of the year, I thought we'd do a baseline. How is their reading when I don't tell them how to do it at all? And so they read the story, and in fact, I gave them the answer to the first question, and it shows how many times they guessed to get the answer out of 4 right. And it looked a little grim at the beginning of the year, but it was kind of cool to see, hey, this is what happens before we learn any of the strategies that we are going to use. Well, what are those strategies that we are learning to make success happen instead of wild guessing? So what are those steps that help us become successful at reading? Well, step 1 is we look in Google Classroom to see what the essay question is for this reading, and that'll help us to become focused when we read as to what we'll be writing about, and we're looking for answers as we read. But then you look at the title. Titles tell us so much. Fiddle Fanatic. I wonder what that is. Fiddle is a violin, so I wonder, someone playing a violin. And then we read the little description that goes before. And usually before we read, we look to see, before it gets blurred out, what is question 1? What is it? Because that helps us become more focused in the reading too. And then they read the selection, the first section, with active comprehension, meaning, what do I know? What do I wonder? And then they're always kind of retelling it in their own mind so that they know if they have to read or not. And then when we start doing the question, the cool thing about Common Lit is when you find the proof, this is what we're doing all year long. When you find the proof, Yeah, you highlight the proof. And that's the best thing about Common Lit, is you find the proof before you answer. And definitely another strategy is you get rid of bad answers. Yep, and that helps you focus on what the right answer is. So we're always, when we answer, we're finding the proof, which helps so much. You never just guess dingy, like I'm just going to guess this. No, because you will definitely get them wrong. And so that's how we're going to use Common Lit to become just accurate, fantastic, amazing readers. So remember how many guesses there were at the start of the year before we learned any strategies for reading? Remember how many guesses there were now? Well, look how it's changing. So the green shows they get it right. And so we have a lot more students that are now getting them right. A lot more green. What do we do with those who are still guessing? Well, I'm going to do guided readings with those people. I will be just once again, always helping them realize that you have to find the proof. You have to read to understand, and you have to find proof. So a lot of individual conferencing to help them just grow in their ability to think and find proof before they answer. And I'm seeing just giant positive changes. The cool thing about everything we learn is that it's an evolution. Yep, do we have it all right now? No, we don't. But are we moving toward the goal? Yeah, we are. So my teaching method is, I guide, yep, and I push and I celebrate. So we celebrate always the thinking that the students are doing. So I'm really excited about the progress that we have made so far this year. Very excited. Just like we did a baseline of their reading at the beginning of the year to see where they are without any instruction so far this year, we did the same with writing. I had the students write an essay, and in most cases, in fact, and in all cases, students wrote just a simple little paragraph. Yeah, that was their essay. Here's another one. And another one, and we did that just to have that beautiful baseline at the beginning of the year before growth starts to happen. Another huge piece of the year is the essay writing that we do. We write 1 to 2 essays a week, and I do what we call advanced essay writing. That's where they have a background hook that gives the reader a picture and a main idea question hook. These two are the kind of the appetizers to the essay. They draw the reader in, they make the reader want to read it. And then we're going to just fine-tune our use of evidence and elaboration throughout the year. And then the big one to revise and edit. So that's going to be our focal points with writing. So what does this look like? Here's Uretzi's. Here's her background hook. It was a glorious sunny day. The neighborhood was quiet and peaceful. 2 girls getting ready for school. One girl was worried about her orchestra audition. The other had no time to worry about her audition. One of the girls closed her violin case silently, and the other girl sat on the couch, putting on her shoes. So that's her background hook. Boy, that gave us a picture. And here's her main idea question hook. Have you ever played the violin? Have you ever been first place in something? Maybe you got put behind your friend or family, and her question hooks totally nailed the main idea. And then comes her evidence, where she explains the whole story. This happens to be Emilio's. It was a beautiful morning, the sun shining through the house. Suddenly 2 girls burst, and that's what we do. We want to use classy words like burst into the living room talking about auditions. One is nervous and the other doesn't care. Would you be nervous or calm at that time? Here's his hook questions. Have you ever experienced change to a person you were jealous of because they were better? And then he transitions into his evidence. Well, that's exactly what Mel felt like. And there's his evidence. Bravo, Emilio. This happens to be Noemi's. It was a hot and sunny day. It was hot and sunny with a blazing sun. In the neighborhood, 2 little girls were getting on the bus. As soon as they got to school, they got to class as fast as they could. One girl has gym class and the other has an audition, so she's getting ready. She loves music and she thinks it's fun. Here's her questions. Do you think your sister brother is better than you at an active thing? Have you ever felt jealous of something? Have you ever felt like someone changed and she too nailed the main idea? And there's all of her evidence. Later this last week, we were reading about a most valuable player, and here's Audrey Nava's main idea, or her background hook paragraph. Basketball players are racing down the gym trying to score the ball. People were shouting and waving their hands up in the air. What a picture, Audrey. There are parents caring for their kids as they play. In the gym, basketball players' squeaky shoes echoed through the gym. When a team scores, people on their bleachers are stomping for the team. The players were dribbling, look at that good word, the ball down the court, passing the ball from one player to another, and the players were sweating as they played. And what a bravo, amazing, beautiful picture, Aubrey. And so that's what we're learning. So each day as the students are writing, the kids beg to have their writing go on the big screen, and so that's our celebration. We read it and we savor that writing, and we tell everyone, hey, you can use these strategies too, and it helps everyone learn from each other and evolve gigantically in their writing. Yahoo! Fourth grade. So as I've said, hey, we're heading to a fantastic year and success is in the air and we want everyone to succeed as much as they can. One thing you can do as parents is connect with us on Dojo. Please reach out to us with any good news, or if you have a concern, do that as well. If we post stuff, if you like it, that kind of is nice cheerleading for us. Otherwise, we kind of feel like we're alone sometimes. And then too, if you want to send me your email, I can connect you with Google Classroom so you can be a cheerleader to your fourth grade at home. You can look at their essays and savor the good work that they're doing and help them along. If your son or daughter is absent too, the work is always on Google Classroom. We do, in my class, very little on paper. It's always centered upon Common Lit and Google Classroom. And then too, if your fourth grader isn't thriving as much as you'd want, the problem might be video games. I've seen in all the decades I've taught that video games do have the tendency to take away the good attitude and the willingness to work, because research shows that video games just flood the brain with so many endorphins that work kind of isn't a priority anymore. So any attention to that would be just amazing as well. And so the buffet of learning is set. And all we have to do is sit up and eat. And so this whole year, we're going to savor learning and we're going to soak up that buffet of learning. Bravo. Yahoo to you all.